What if you held the key? The key to unlocking your true potential. The key to unlocking your connection to Klal Yisrael. The key to changing the world, one soul at a time. Too often, we stand at the door, I'm sure, waiting for everyone else to turn the key, but what if that someone was you? Because when you unlock yourself, you unlock others. This weekend, you have a choice. Stay behind the door or step forward and say, "Count me in." The key is in your hands. Are you ready to turn it? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Project Inspire Convention.
Wow. A good vach, everyone. What can we say about Shabbos? Let's give Shabbos a round of applause, if we will. For some reason, I felt that like last night, like Shabbos was over. It was just amazing, and everyone was walking on air and blown away and inspired. And here we are, continuing that inspiration, and Amir Hashem turning that into action. Good vach, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Matzah Shabbos segment of the 16th Annual Project Inspire Convention. Historically, this segment of the Project Inspire Convention has been a journey, and tonight is no different. Before we go further, I want to let you know that tonight's program will be 91 minutes. I assure you that it will be inspiring and uplifting, and I urge you all to stay for its entirety. The Malava Malka will open after this segment finishes. Before we go further, I would like to dedicate tonight's session, as well as the inspiration that will come out of it, to be a schus for Refuah Shalema, for Yehudis Miriam Bas Amitza Chana, and Tinok Ben Yehudis Miriam Besoich She'ar Chayli Yisrael. We spent last night being inspired and being moved by the Chief Rabbi of Russia, Rabbi Beryl Lazar. We heard from David Gresson. We were riveted by Rabbi Yechiel Spiro today, and of course from Steve Gar. We spent the entire Shabbos figuring out how we're going to raise our hands and get involved and saying, "Count me in." Tonight is about turning that inspiration into action. Without further ado, I'd like to reintroduce to you the founding director of Project Inspire, Rabbi Chaim Samson.
Ooh, wow. Good to vach, everybody. Did you have a good Shabbos? We did as well, thanks to you. And while we're on the subject of thanks, I'd just like to take a moment just to thank a few people. But first and foremost, my team, headed by Rabbi Yossi Friedman. And let's just have a round of applause for Rabbi Yossi. Unbelievable what this one man can do. It's amazing. It's amazing. But just thanks to the whole team, and just a few names to thank: Rav Yaakov Ginninger, Lauren Levitt, Rabbi Mordechai Trop, Rabbi Yoni Zakatinsky, Mrs. Chaya Azer, Mrs. Kayla Lasky, Ms. Tova Cohen, Daniela Haas, amongst many, many others. Of course, we thank our founding director, Stuart Hyman, and Andrea, who's not here, but we thank her as well. Thank you for everything that you do. You know, on my travels around this interesting country, the United States of America, I've had occasion recently to spend a few davening sessions at a shul in Kingston. Happens to be, no coincidences here, a Chabad shul, a really wonderful place. And I happened to have davened there a few times recently. And when I was davening there recently, at the end of the Marav, there's a fellow who all of a sudden burst out crying. I had no idea why. And it turns out this fellow's name is Morris Schneider. He lost his sister and brother-in-law October 7th. And he was crying because his niece and great-nephews were still hostages, and he didn't know what was going to be with them. He came back recently after the Kvura in Eretz Yisrael. Shiri and her sons. And he came and he was in shul. And I went over to him and I gave him a hug. And I said, Maurice, I don't know you so well, but I love you like a brother. And I try to feel a little bit of your pain. And if there's anything I can do for you, I'm here for you. And he said to me, Chaim, that means so much to me. And I'm going to take a little bit of my heart, and I'm going to put it in yours. And then we embraced. And that was a feeling of love and closeness that we had for each other. But ladies and gentlemen, we know that what happened in Eretz Yisrael, it started because there was infighting between the left and the right, the religious and the non-religious. And Hashem said, if you're going to fight, I'm going to send you to the front lines, but I'm not going to let you fight brother to brother, sister to sister. That just can't happen. And the question is, did we get the message? Are we coming out of all of this after all this time realizing that we have to love one another, and more than just loving each other? But I think we learned from Steve Garr today that your love has to be so burning that you'll be prepared to run towards the enemy because you love the Jewish people so much. But for us, it's much easier. We have to run towards our brothers and sisters who we love and just show them a little care, a little warmth, a little friendship, the ability to listen, to be there, to share the beauty of what we have with our fellow Jew. You know, I was walking with my son recently, and he asked me, Abba, what do we learn from a puzzle? And I said, Shmuel, don't you know it's Mefurish Rav Noach Weinberg, 48 ways, number 22, Erech Apayim. Take, as he would say, conquer frustration. And as Rav Noach used to say, that you know what stands between you and greatness? Frustration. The ability to take frustration stands between you and greatness. And he said, you know, the way to take frustration is to enjoy it. To enjoy it. Enjoy frustration. And he would say, each one of us has bought a little box of frustration that we've enjoyed. What is that? A puzzle. And when you buy a puzzle, if it's just got 3 pieces, there's no point to it. If it's 20, 100, maybe it's 1,000 pieces, now that's going to be a lot of frustration, but you're going to enjoy it. What's the pleasure? The pleasure is the creativity. The pleasure is in the clues, the discovery, the chiddush. That's the pleasure. It's the pleasure really of meaning. Sometimes life is that puzzle. And sometimes it can be hard. But maybe that's just a clue. If it's hard, there's a lot of real pleasure and growth and development of ourselves inherent in that. And he would say a further step, that there's 2 types of puzzles. There's a puzzle that you don't know if you can solve. Imagine having a Rubik's Cube and you just don't know if it really comes together. Would you really give it a shot? And then there's a B-type frustration, which is a puzzle that you know. If you know the Rubik's Cube can really work, you'll give it a shot and you'll enjoy it. Rav Noach used to teach us that anything that he asks us to do is a B-type frustration that we know we can solve. Ladies and gentlemen, we've learned together. We've spent Shabbos together. We know we have to share the beauty of what we have with all our brothers and sisters. We have to unite. We have to love. We have to be in, as the chief rabbi of Russia told us, Rabbi Lazar, Amen. We have to say Amen. I'm in. We have to be in. We have to take action. We have to run towards our friends, the Jewish people, and do something. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do that. Let's together, ba'achdus. It's difficult. It's a puzzle. But Bezrat Hashem, let's, with unity, run together. Let's all of us in this room take that action together with achdus. Let's build the picture, the beautiful picture. Let's create it together of all of the Jewish people coming together with Ahavas Yisrael, understanding the beauty of the Torah that we have and the tremendous love that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has for us. And Bezrat Hashem, we will see the Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira v'yameinu. I'd like to introduce a partner. You may have heard him a little bit over the weekend, but a partner who has incorporated the lessons that we've given over and brought it into his life. And he has said, I'm in. I don't want to take his words away from you, but without any further ado, please, I welcome Josh Brody.
Well, that was a little awkward. Good Tvach, as Rabbi Sampson mentioned, my name is Josh Brody, and for those of you who I did not get a chance to meet over Shabbos, while my day job, I'm a lawyer, what I spend most of my time actually doing, sometimes to the chagrin of my partners and clients, is being involved with Project Inspire, particularly in Long Island. And the truth is, I never, ever thought it was going to go this way. I grew up like a regular, frum kid. I was out of town in Chicago. And, went to yeshiva, got married, learned in Kollel, and, was living my life the way you would expect a regular frum balabas to live. Working, trying to be kovea itim, spending time with my family. And frankly, had you asked me 12 years ago, I would have said that life was great. Everything was great. And then one Shabbos, my wife, in that way that only firm women can, subtly suggested that maybe we should consider going to the Project Inspire convention. And I responded in that way that only a firm husband can respond. That sounds very interesting, dear. Of course, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if I can potentially schedule a root canal for that Shabbos. But of course, like every good husband, I went. And in reality, something just clicked for me over that Shabbos. Hearing about the things that we heard about over this Shabbos, the importance of connecting to Achinu B'nai Yisrael throughout the world, wherever they happen to be. And something about it just sort of spoke to me, and it started a chain reaction. And over time, I found that as I was spending more and more time reaching out to other Jews, what happened was the most cliche thing in the world, I found I was getting more out of it. And over that time, as my wife and I were teaching more, and what ended up happening was, it wasn't just impacting me, it was impacting my entire family. Because the truth is, I write and speak for a living. It is very hard to put into words what it feels like to spend time with somebody who has a thirst for Torah because they didn't grow up with it. It has an impact, I just can't put it into words. And over this time, it impacted my entire family. And while I know my kids are about to roll their eyes really, really hard, I know that they know that they've gained from it. And so my wife and I have done a number of trips to Eretz Yisrael, and as we came back from these trips, we started teaching a lot. It became a major part of our lives. At this point, I'm teaching, I think, 3 times a week. And what ends up happening is we start building these beautiful relationships with people who, had you asked me 12 years ago, I would say I would never have imagined knowing them. And these are people who become some of our closest friends. And there are two people in particular, two of whom you actually just saw, that my wife and I have developed a very close relationship with. And that's our very David and Lauren Moss and Mark and Michelle Mandelman. And we have experienced with them incredible growth, and we've seen them grow and grown with them. But things went to a whole new level this past summer. So my wife and I, together with Steve Berg and his wife, Rachel Berg, we did a trip to Eretz Yisrael with 10 couples, something we had never done before. It was really an outgrowth of a project that my wife and Mrs. Berg have been working on together for now, I don't know, at least 5-6 years. And as we're getting ready and preparing for this trip to Eretz Yisrael, the Mosses and the Mandelmans, who I would think it's easy to say are two of the most loving and happiest couples that we know, they told us that they kind of recognized they were missing one thing in their relationships with each other. And that was they had never gotten married, Kedas Moshe v'Yisrael. And well, who doesn't love planning a wedding? This guy. But with some help from the incredible staff at Eish HaTorah, who offered up their iconic rooftop overlooking the Kotel, on a Friday afternoon, we had what has to be one of the most unique and beautiful weddings we've ever experienced.
We're talking about two wonderful couples. I want to thank everybody for coming today. And it's amazing that we're having this in Yerushalayim. When a couple gets married, it's rebuilding the Beis HaMikdash, rebuilding the temple. Right over there, the stone throws away, Mazel Tov. The members of the Kehillah, members of the community will bestow brachas, blessings that we ask Hashem to give this young couple much health, happiness, prosperity, and nachas for the children, and nachas for Klal Yisrael, for the Jewish people. Mazel Tov.
Wow. That was something else, wasn't it? It was like a dream. Thank you. Thank you all. Look at this crowd. Simply remarkable. Truly, truly, I'm so grateful to be here. My wife Lauren, my dearest friends Mark and Michelle. My name is David, and we had an incredible experience last summer. Shavua Tov. I'll share a little bit about our experience with all of you. It's coming from the heart, so I hope that you receive it the way I'm giving it. Laura and I are both humbled and honored to be here with you. It would be impossible to put into words our heartfelt appreciation to Project Inspire for all that they have done to enable us over the past few years. Most of all, we want to thank you in this room today. Day in and day out, it is you who actually support tremendous growth and inspiration to all of us and others. Truth is, I am not someone you would easily call an easy sell, but I am open-minded, and for some reason, a very easily inspired Jew. I feel connected to Judaism in a way that I can't even express in words, and always did. In that sense, I'm easy. Give me something meaningful, and I'm in. Simple. I was inspired from the get-go. Because of Project Inspire, the genie was now out of the bottle. Better yet, the truth, the beauty, eternal beauty of Torah was really revealed to me and my wife Lauren, and I think I could speak for Mark and Michelle. My wife Lauren didn't necessarily feel as I did, but we supported each other on this journey. I couldn't have gotten here without her. But there was certainly more than a bit of friction in the early years. I remember after I came back from my very first trip, my internal candle was lit. It was literally on fire. And I come home from this trip, and I walk in the door at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and immediately, Lauren saw fire. What does someone do when they see fire? They pour cold water all over it, literally. And of course, my emotion was just so strong that, the fire kept burning. It became a blaze. And Lauren, of course, got more water. What could you do? But try to put it out. But nothing was working. So, needless to say, our enthusiasms differed a little bit. Eventually, she saw that I experienced something profound, literally changed my life, and that she needed to find her own path. Lauren began her own journey, and eventually she went on a trip, kicking and screaming, to Israel, but she went on this trip, and she got involved after the trip in Project Inspire and Aish, and it was the sincerity and kindness of Lauren's first chavrusa that took Lauren to a new level of growth. Finally, we continued to grow individually and now as a couple. That's what brought us here today. Mark, over the years, you and I, with the help of a few bottles of scotch, would share our experiences, because we kind of were running a little bit of parallel lives there. Mark, can you please just give everyone a glimpse as to what was happening in the Mandelman house?
Thank you, David. Well, actually, for us, it was actually the exact opposite of your story. Because my wife, Michelle, has been very involved in growing Jewishly since going on her first Project Inspire Momentum women's trip to Israel in 2014. We've always identified very strongly as Jews, but we were living a very secular lifestyle. At first, when Michelle was eagerly taking classes and learning more and more, my approach was, okay, well, this is good for you, but just leave me out of it. I didn't want to be involved. But somehow, I don't know, shalom bias or whatever it is, the power of an Ashes Chayil, Michelle very subtly pulled me along, and now our lives have been completely transformed. We daven at a Chabad where we can walk to shul. We fully observe Shabbos. I've had a weekly study partner for a few years, one of whom is sitting right there. And I am continuously learning and studying the beauty of the traditions of the Jewish people in Torah. But yes, we support each other totally, and it has been an incredible improvement in our lives and the lives of our children.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, interestingly, I spend most of my time during the day working, okay? But that's not my real job. My real job is actually prospecting for Jews. Wherever I turn, I'm looking for a fellow Jew, whether it's in the office, whether it's in the airport, whether it's in my local town. I'm always prospecting for Jews. And things I hear are things like, it's not for me. Literally, I hear it all the time. And that's how I know I'm really working at it, because I hear it all the time. It's not for me. But every once in a while, someone's interested, and they want to learn more, and they want to get involved. And it's amazing when you see something like that happen right before your eyes. What's really true is that Torah is really for everyone. Anyone can get involved at their own pace and on their own schedule.
Yes, well, it was actually you, David, that sort of started that transformation for me. You invited me to a weekly Project Inspire Lunch and Learn in New York City, and I really didn't want to go, but I felt uncomfortable saying no to you. So I ended up going, and I ended up going to a shiur that was being given by Rabbi Chaim Samson, and what I heard at that shiur was just unbelievable. I had never heard a form of Judaism like this before. The beauty and complexity of Torah was being revealed to me in a way that I didn't even know existed. And that really just started me off on that journey. So it was just that one suggestion that you made to me to come to a lunch and learn, and I just sort of overcame my resistance, and here we are today.
Amazing. Mark, I could feel your love for Judaism, and I love my Judaism as well. It's beautiful. I love Shabbos. I love the holidays. I'm grateful now to be Jewishly married.
We have to get that message out there, and we have to just keep on trying to reach out to more and more people. My learning with Project Inspire has opened me up to this incredible beauty of Judaism. And it's so important that we all work together to continue supporting Project Inspire and organizations like it to reach out to less connected Jews and educate them and make sure that they are able to have the opportunity to be exposed to the beauty that Torah and Judaism can provide.
Absolutely, Mark. And that's why I am personally so thankful to Project Inspire for being that bridge for men like me to meet fellow Jews like Josh. And with the help of Hashem, together we will grow, build community, and break down those barriers. I thank you all. Mazel tov, and enjoy the rest of this fantastic experience. Thank you.
People I meet at Project Inspire programs are so amazing. First of all, in terms of the leadership and the staff, their dedication is unbelievable. The detail that they put into everything is incredible. When it comes to the attendees, I feel like people are looking through a lot of the same things that I'm looking for, whether it's a deeper connection or anything like that. And I feel like I'm able to connect to a lot of people because of that. The Jewish unity I feel with Project Inspire is very different from my childhood when I thought that the Orthodox Jews didn't respect me as a real Jewish person. Now, here I am with Jews of all different denominations feeling completely comfortable and accepting and happy with my faith.
Amazing. Mazel tov to Dave and Lauren, mazel tov to Mark and Michelle. Beautiful simcha, and it's our simcha. And by the way, it's all of our simcha in this room. Because without us and the people that we reach out to, many people would not have the connection that they have today. And that's been the theme and the lesson of this Shabbos. Now, without further ado, because this Shabbos is all about you, everyone here in this room, I want to join some of you in the crowd and get to know some of you a little bit better, if you don't mind. Would you be able to hear? Of course not. Okay. Okay. Follow me over here on this journey here. Okay. If you don't mind. I don't mind joining you in the crowd over here. Okay, I'm going to take a seat over here in front of these two little tzaddikim over here. You want to tell me your name, Tzaddik? You want to tell me your name?
Yeah,
What's your name, Tzaddik?
Yaakov,
Yaakov. How you doing, Yaakov? How old are you?
7.
Yaakov is 7 years old. Let's give a big hand for Yaakov, who's 7 years old. And what's your name, little tzaddik?
David,
David. What a Z's guy, David. How old are you, David?
5.
David is 5 years old. Where do you live, Yaakov?
And Haverstraw.
Haverstraw. Haverstraw is near Muncie, for those in Tom's Rimber who have no idea where that is. Haverstraw is in Muncie, right? Near Muncie? And do you go to Cheder, Yaakov?
Yeah,
You go to Cheder. What grade are you in?
1st.
He's in 1st grade. What grade are you in, David?
Pre-1A.
David is in pre-1A. Wow. Did you guys have a good time here at the Shabbos?
Yeah,
Wow. And what about you, David?
yeah,
Amazing. Oh, I'm just going to sit here the rest of the time. This is so amazing. I'm sitting here next to Yaakov. You want to tell me? Tell me, what does your tati do? What does your Abba do?
he learns Torah.
Oh, your Abba learns Torah? Psh, amazing. Does your Abba learn Torah, or does he even teach Torah?
He teaches Torah.
Wow. Psh, and 1 second. Is this your first time at the Project Inspire convention, David?
Yeah,
Wow. First time. But do you know something? You know something, Yaakov? You know something, David? It might be your first time at the Project Inspire convention, but you know that your Abba was once at the Project Inspire convention. Do you know that?
yeah,
You do know that? Well, someone spilled the beans then. Shh. Do you want me to show you that your Abba was once at the Project Inspire convention?
yeah,
Wow. Should we play the video? You want to see a video of your Abba at the Project Inspire convention?
yeah,
What about you, Yaakov? You want to see it?
yeah.
Amazing. Okay, let's go to the videotape and let's see the Abba of Yaakov and David at the Project Inspire convention.
I've been asked 2 weeks ago to say a few words about my journey in the last 2 years. Moving from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, from city of opportunities to my dorm with 3 roommates, and from the audition room to the Beit Midrash, what was I thinking?
I grew up in Haifa. I went to acting school, went straight to the theater. It looked like a great place to be. I got the opportunity to shoot an advertisement in New York, and on the plane, I saw that religious, scary lady, Tzipi Reifer, and I was stuck with that lady for 11 hours, and we started to talk. I asked tons of questions. She just came back from Israel, from Physics Mission Project Inspire. Right. But I gotta say that her answers were pretty good, and she was very honest to say, you know what, Effie? I don't have all the answers, but I promise you that I'm gonna ask for the answer. I appreciated the honesty to say I don't No.
She was big enough to see past my behavior, past my mistakes. They really saw the potential in Effie Bibi. And she did it with one simple sentence. Will you come for Shabbos? That's it.
I came on Friday morning and I went to her house.
And going for Shabbos in Boulevard Brooklyn, you know, it's not Disneyland, okay?
I opened the door. I saw the strangles and the white socks and the funny pants. It was like, I told myself, Effie, are you gonna be here for 25 hours? And I told myself, give it a chance, you know? It's one Shabbos. Turn off the phone. Take it the whole way.
And it wasn't Shabbos of miracles and big productions. It was a Jewish Shabbos with a lot of food, of course. I wanted to compliment her on the food, and I said, wow, so many curses. And then I realized that the word that I was trying to use is courses.
I went to Baba Shul. People were shaking my hands and welcoming, smiling. And these people are so kind and warm, and they made me feel like home. And they were singing, they were dancing, they took me a part of it, you know, they felt so special. And at that moment, I realized that I want to keep Shabbos.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to reintroduce to you Rabbi Ephraim Bibi.
כדבח, שבוע טוב. פותחים בכבוד אכסניה. So first of all, I want to thank the biggest host, which is the Kadosh Baruch Hu, for hosting us this Shabbos, every day. בחן, בחסד, ברחמים. He deserves the מחיאות כפיים. And also for Project Inspire, Rabbi Chaim Samson, and also Rabbi Yossi Friedman, for have such love and care for Klal Yisrael, and also for me all these years. So this video that you just watched, that was 12 years ago, but really the story started almost 15 years ago. It's interesting to see how HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a plan. You have your own plan. You're thinking that you're coming to New York. You want to conquer the world. You want to conquer Broadway. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to cross path with a very interesting Hasidic lady, very scary one, Mrs. Reifer and her precious family. And again, that Shabbos I mentioned, it was an amazing Shabbos, incredible Shabbos. And I was trying to find the words to thank them for this amazing Shabbos, and instead of saying shkoyach, I kept saying shegetz. And I'm not talking about drinking the mayim acharonim, which was also embarrassing. But it was an incredible Shabbos. We learned from our mistakes, right? And after that Shabbos, I decided that I'm going to make a change, a small change, as you can see. It was very small. Next convention, I'm coming with a shtreimel. And Baruch Hashem, it's amazing. I'm grateful to the Kadosh Baruch Hu to have normal life. You know, people are dreaming about normal life. Not perfect, but normal. Wife and kids and learning and teaching. And Baruch Hashem, I'm about to finish my smicha soon. And being busy with Kiruv, with Am Yisrael, and you know, just being like doing the regular things that people dream to do in life, like just finish davening and coming back home and taking the kids to school and driving with one hand and eating with another hand and feeding your baby with your leg. Just be busy with life. And Baruch Hashem, one of the things that I keep reminding myself during this 15 years is that one key to do kiruv is a thing that we need to learn from the Reifers, which is that they didn't try to wow me with amazing ideas. Should better answer, huh? They didn't try to wow me with big ideas. They didn't have like this tremendous divrei Torah about Yiddishkeit. They kept it very simple. And I read a mashal that is very mechazek from Sefer Haredim. It's a short mashal, but gives musar for us. It talks about a king that went with his pamalia to hunt. And he felt during his hunting that something is biting his shoulder. And he thought that really it's nothing. Went back to the palace, and he felt that it's very itchy. And suddenly he started to have fever, and he wasn't able to walk, and he wasn't able to stand, and he fell. And the doctors were trying to take care of him and trying to find something to give him, nothing. And the gardener of the palace remembered that there was one person that was always busy with like health and natural medicines that never helps. And he decided to call him. And this Pashut guy came and started to mix few herbs together. And after a few minutes that he gave it to the king, few minutes after, the king opened his eyes and was able to move his hands. Half an hour after, he was standing. 3 hours after, he was able to walk. And Baruch Hashem, he was healthy. Says Sefer Haredim, people are busy to save themselves with tremendous things. They're trying to be so creative with what to do with our lives in order to save ourselves. What do we really need? Few herbs. That's what we need. What are the herbs that Reifer offered? Shabbos, Yom Tov, Hanukkah candles, Pesach, Bdikat Chametz. Simple things, not big ideas. I'm coming back home Thursday night, and I look at the Shabbos table, which is already set, Baruch Hashem, and the candles, and I tell myself, wow, I have a Jewish home. I'm learning with my sons their Siddur party and their Parsha party and Avot Ubanim, and I see the spark in their eyes of Yiddishkeit, of learning. And I tell myself, what would happen without that plane ride? Without that simple question, will you come for Shabbos? We're here to inspire one another, and we don't need too much things, just few herbs that we all have in our pocket. So I encourage you to do it, to use whatever we have to affect neshamot of Jews that are not inspired yet. We should, Bezrat Hashem, zocheh to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mehera and to see the binyan of Yerushalayim and Beit HaMikdash very soon. Kol Tov.
Project Inspire. What's amazing is the similarities between everyone, and that's kind of what warms my heart. It's all about building a connection. And what's beautiful is that when you're able to connect in the form of talking about life, talking about family, talking about spirituality, talking about your background, talking about your fears, your challenges, that's a different type of connection. Everyone has like a Jewish soul, and Project Inspire is about inspiring that soul. And whether you're a teacher, you're a learner, you're a grower. and every single person is growing, and that's why Project Inspire is so meaningful for me.
Thank you, Rabbi Ephraim. And family, and Yaakov and David, thank you for being here. You guys, you little guys, are an inspiration for all of us. Chazaku Baruch. Amazing. Amazing. What a joy. I had the opportunity last week to be in Ephraim's home with his family. What a joy. And again, once again, our accomplishment, our simcha. Shkayach to all of you. I also want to acknowledge who you saw in the video, who was here at the Project Inspire convention when that happened. He's here with us tonight. A special shout out to a dear friend and mentor, Rabbi Yaakov Solomon, who is in the house tonight. I remember filming that video in the 95-degree heat on the rooftop of Aish HaTorah. I just don't know who was burnt worse, but thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the part of the evening that we've all looked forward to over the weekend. We started this weekend off with the messaging of we need to raise our hands. We need to count. You need to count us all in for the initiatives that Project Inspire is offering. Once again, as Ephraim mentioned and has been mentioned here, reaching out to Jews that we come across with is already simple stuff for us. But now many of you are sitting in the room and saying, maybe I'm not that scary lady on the plane. Maybe I'm not able to do that. Maybe I don't have the ability as a lawyer, as a frum lawyer, to change my entire life around and to take trips with less affiliated Jews to Israel. Maybe you're not, and we're not capable of doing that. But we have to think about what we are capable of doing. And I want to mention a few initiatives now. And by tomorrow morning, our goal is, when I stand up at this podium, that we sign up 100% of the people in this room. Everyone here can do something. And even if I go through an initiative that's not for you for whatever reason, tell us what your initiative is. Tell us what you can offer. Tell us what you can get involved in. Our first initiative, which you will see out in the hallway, is Conference Connections. There are dozens, if not hundreds of students in the area, in our area, who need a place to meet up with, in a conference room, in a place in your office. Many of you work in offices, and even if you're not a Kiruv magician or a Kiruv professional, but you have a space to offer. Raise your hand, offer your space. Just this past few weeks, Josh Brody, Eric Yankelevich, Dovi Weiser, just to name a few, opened up their conference rooms of Project Inspire for students from universities around the New York area and have inspired dozens of students. The next initiative is what we're calling Leaders Hub. There are professionals in this room. There might even be retired professionals in this room who would like to interact, to inspire, to connect with students. You're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're an accountant, you're an interior designer. There are students, there are families, there are people who are looking to interact with you. And even if you, heaven forbid, don't know what to say or speak to a less religious Jew, can you offer your services for the purpose of outreach and for the purpose of Kiruv? This is our Leaders Hub. If you're in this category, raise your hand. And maybe you're not even that. And maybe you don't have a profession, and maybe you don't have that space to offer. But maybe you could come on the road with Project Inspire. Maybe you could join us in many campuses and communities. Let's go to the next slide. On the road with Project Inspire. I was sitting at a table today where a couple was discussing the initiatives. I mean, maybe they were in heart of sight, and it was actually right in front of their faces over Shabbos. And he said, what a great idea. Our kids are older. We would love to interact with students. We've reached a point in our life where we can get away for a Shabbos or two. Spend the time, a Shabbos or 2 or 3, in a community, in a university, somewhere where you could use your Shabbos or your time to inspire Jews on the road. And maybe you're not even that, and you don't have the ability to travel on the road. Maybe you're scared of flying or you're scared of driving, but maybe you can be a community ambassador. Can we rely on you as we run initiatives from our office and as you recommend initiatives to us to be a point person for the community ambassador? Maybe you're a woman at home who's maybe not working in an office with a boardroom, and maybe you're not a professional by trade, and maybe you're not ready to go on the road. But can we rely on you to be a community ambassador, to inspire others in your community to get involved with our initiatives? And maybe you're not even that. I don't have access to my shul WhatsApp groups, and I'm not on the Neshe, and I hope they never call me about the Neshe. But maybe I could just be a host. Maybe I could open up my home to host someone for Shabbos. Just this past week, let's go to the next slide. We're good, sorry. Maybe you could open your home. In this room, the Barracks family, Tzvi Barracks and his family, opened up their home even on a moment's notice. We got a call from a university that's running a program. We went to our database, which we're trying to grow. And we found people in that area who are ready to host, and we were able to inspire students by hosting. Maybe you can't host for a Shabbos, you can host for a challah bake in your house, and maybe you can host students to show them how to cook for Shabbos. But if you can be a host on any level, we need you as part of our army to be able to service all the needs of the community. And maybe you're not even that. You're homeless, jobless, conference roomless, you don't have a car, and you're scared of flying. Can you learn one-on-one with a chavrusa on the phone? Is there anyone here without a phone? Can we sign up and raise our hand and say, I can learn with someone a half hour a week? I can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here this entire weekend. We've heard from Rabbi Lokich about the need in the greater Kiruv community. We've been contacted by dozens of programs and communities, and we're looking for people who want to raise their hand and get involved so that we can use our office and our staff and our resources to get all of you involved. Ladies and gentlemen, in the hallway tonight, you will see and you will be approached by our staff to sign up. Don't be afraid. Sign up. We won't call, we will call you, and we will involve you, because this is not only our mission, this is your mission, this is our responsibility. I urge you, all of you, that tomorrow morning I can announce that 100% of us raised our hand to get involved in the Project Inspire initiatives. Thank you.
For over 3 decades, one man has stood at the forefront of Jewish life in Russia, leading with unwavering commitment, courage, and faith. Rabbi Beryl Lazar, Chief Rabbi of Russia, has not only revitalized Jewish communities across the former Soviet Union, but has also been a global ambassador for the Jewish people. From rebuilding shuls and schools to ensuring that every Jew, no matter where they are, has access to their heritage, Rabbi Lazar's leadership has been a beacon of light in times of challenge and triumph. His work extends far beyond Russia's borders, whether standing before world leaders, advocating for Jewish rights, or bringing Torah and Yiddishkeit to the farthest corners of the earth. Rabbi Lazar embodies the responsibility of Klal Yisroel, caring for every Jew in every place. Tonight, we are honored to welcome a leader, a visionary, and a true servant of the Jewish people. Please welcome the Chief Rabbi of Russia, Rabbi Beryl Lazar.
Good Tavach. First of all, great being here. I think for each one of us, but especially for me. So I think it's a eye-opener for me, everything that I saw here this Shabbos. And I'm sure each one of the participants feels the same. We're empowered to go out and bring Mashiach. How do we do that? So just imagine that somebody will tell you, you can save the Bibas children. What are you ready to do to save them? I could promise you that if you turn to any Jew anywhere in the world and you tell him these words, he's going to say, I'm in. I'm ready. I'm ready to do whatever is needed to save these children. So you know what? The Rambam, it's a big halachic issue, but the Rambam says that a Jew that is out there, that is not part of Project Inspire, doesn't go to a Chabad house, doesn't join a minyan every day, he is a tinek shenishba, bein ha'akum. He's a child that was captivated. He's being held hostage by non-Jews. He's actually maybe living in the free world, but deep inside, what is going on with him? He's a hostage. He's in Gaza. He's suffering. He's hurting. And you are the one that can save him. And this is really what we have to realize, that these Jews that say no, I heard tonight somebody says, you want to learn? And he says no. I always say, oh, you are my client. Those that say yes, somebody else will take care of them. They don't need me. When somebody says no, I say, oh, wow, that's what I was looking for. And let's start talking. And invite him for Shabbos, send him some shmura matzah, send him a book, put on tefillin on him, make a small change. This will trigger bigger changes, bigger changes. If a Shabbos meal can bring this beautiful family to be mekarev others, it's like Herbalife. I don't know what it's called. You know, it goes and goes and it grows. And the schar, at the end of the day, we are the ones that get the schar from his balei teshuvas and his balei teshuvas and his balei teshuvas. But people say, people are not interested in listening. I look at them in their eyes, they don't want to talk to me. So let me share with you a very famous Gemara. A person goes over to Shammai and he says, teach me the whole Torah while I'm standing on one foot. Shammai takes a stick and starts running after him. I don't know if he hit him or didn't hit him, but he managed to run away and he ended up by Hillel. And he tells the same story again. Can you teach me the whole Torah while I'm standing on one foot? So first of all, how long was he planning on standing on one foot? If you ask a person, how long can you stand on one foot? They'll tell you, I don't know. Try it. Try it at home. See how long you can stand on one foot. Every person stands at a different time. If he's a good sportsman, he could stand longer. If he's not so balanced, less. What kind of time limit is while I'm standing on one foot? Say I have 5 minutes, I'm running late to a meeting. What's on one foot? And also, he says, teach me the whole Torah. What, is he stupid? He thinks he could learn the whole Torah on one foot? And what does he answer him? Oh, he has a good trick. Don't do to him what you don't want somebody else to do to you. That's the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Now go learn. Oh, you tricked me. You said you're going to teach the whole Torah, and then you tell me go learn. So you didn't teach me the whole Torah. So what is going on over here? There are many, many mefarshim, many pirushim. I want to share a thought that I had. This person is telling him, I'm standing on one foot. What does Shammai see? He sees somebody mocking Torah, laughing at us. You guys are learning Torah. Every day you learn. What are you learning? You can do it all in 1 second. Shammai gets angry, starts hitting him. Mefarshim say, why makasabinyan? He goes to Hillel. What does Hillel say? What does he see? He sees somebody picking up his foot and he's ready to take one step. That's why he's standing on one foot. He wants to take one step. He says, tell me, can I do one step? Is that going to be enough? Or you're planning to turn me into somebody with a black hat, black beard, or white beard? Tell me the truth. What do you want from me? And you tell me, you know what? I want you to do one mitzvah. One mitzvah, ve'afta l'reacha kamecha v'adalach soni l'chavre l'sovid. Don't hurt one person. You know who you're not going to hurt? L'chavrech, your friend. Why does he say it in the negative way? Dalach soni. Because he's telling him, even though he hurt you, he did something against you, he's your competition, he built a business right next door, he did something to hurt you, this person is terrible, he was your friend, and look what he did to you. Exactly what he did to you, don't do to him. Dalach soni, you can't stand it. How could he do such a bad thing to you? And you say, you know what, I'm going to do it back to him? No, exactly the opposite. Zeu kol hatera kula, now go learn. And you're going to take a second step, a third step, a fourth step. You can already imagine what this person became and who he was if the Gemara tells us this whole story. Around a year and a half ago, after October 7th, all of a sudden I got a phone call. We heard you're traveling to Israel. There's somebody that wants to see you. And I always say the answer is always going to be yes. And who's nudging me this time? Oh, it's actually a lady that was a hostage. She thinks you can help. I said, listen, I don't know if I can help, but to meet anyone, I'm always ready. And I'm in Israel with my wife, and this Elena Trufanova comes with her future daughter-in-law, and they come to meet us, and they ask me to do things that are not too realistic. But I tell them, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it together. Whatever it's going to take, we're going to do it. Don't worry. Your son, Alexander, is going to come out of captivity. I promise you. Let's go to the Kaisel. Anyways, I don't know if that was the first time that she was by the Kaisel, but when she came there, Baruch Hashem, she decided on the spot that she's going to start keeping Shabbos. Now, to understand how far this family was from Yiddishkeit, her husband that was murdered was not Jewish. Her son, that was at that time in captivity, was far from Yiddishkeit as far as you can go. Zero connection. And when I say zero, it's zero. And you know, you all heard the story of Sapir Cohen, the way she was creating the Perek Tilim, and there was also, she started davening a month before Simchas Torah. There was no connection, even though her parents are from a frum family, and this Elena was completely disconnected. Fast forward, all of a sudden, she's keeping Shabbos. She's davening 3 times a day, Shachris, Mincha, Mairi, with every little detail. And she has questions, am I supposed to say this way or that way, and tell me here and tell me there? She says Tilim every Shabbos. Takes her 4.5 hours to say Tilim. And then during the week again, she says Tilim. And the question she asks on Tilim, she understands what she's saying. And I'm telling her, don't worry, I promise you one thing. First of all, trach gut wird sein gut. Think it's going to be okay, you'll see it's going to be okay. Positivity, you have to, and the mitzvahs they are doing, the tefillas, it's for sure going to help. And throughout the whole time, after I promised her that everything's going to be okay, she has one question. She says, you know my problem, real problem, I start believing you that it's going to come out. But once he sees what happened to me, what happened to his girlfriend, he's going to think that we went crazy. Why, he's going to keep Shabbos? Are you crazy? Do you know what this guy is going to see when he sees us keeping Shabbos? It's going to be terrible. I have nothing to answer her. But I tell you, you know what? If you're going to daven, while you're davening, you should come out of... You should also daven that you should be strong over there. And the Emunah should come back. Anyways, they came to Moscow to visit. Just, you should understand how close we got to them. My wife, who's here tonight, and the whole Shabbos, thanked her for bringing me here. You can applaud her. My wife became her sister, Kipshute. Every single day, they're on the phone. Their future daughter-in-law became my daughter's sister, and they're on the phone every day. And they became really family. And this is really the connection you have to have with every single Jew. They are family. And you soon see how family works. Anyways, Baruch Hashem, you all heard the news that he came out, but let me tell you one interesting point. We've been telling them, not only is he going to come out, we'll be there to greet him when he comes out. We promise you, we'll be there in Israel. And they ask us, how do you know? What, are you going to move to Israel? How do you know that you're going to be in Israel? He said, listen, we are also davening. We want to see him as much as you want to see him. He's our brother. He's our son. We want to see him and we're going to be there. And you all heard the story of the wedding. Baruch Hashem. Friday, all of a sudden, we find out. The wedding was on Wednesday. Friday, we found out that he's on the list coming out on Shabbos. And Elena Trufanova calls me up and she says, I'm keeping Shabbos. What should I do? Am I allowed to go meet my son by the border, or I have to keep Shabbos? Trust me, it's a tough halachic question, and I answered it that she's allowed. But she made sure that no news will take any pictures or nothing to be Mechalel Shabbos. They shouldn't publish anything until Motzei Shabbos. But the whole time she's telling me on Friday already, when she already heard that it's coming out, he says, you know what I'm really worried about? When he's going to see your hat and your beard, he's going to run away. So I said, I'm not so scary, you know, like the lady on the plane. She was scary. I'm not so scary. And I tell her, don't worry, we'll figure out. I'll be nice, don't worry. I'm not so terrible. Anyways, Motzei Shabbos. The first phone call that he asked to make was he called our family while we were still in the middle of Sheva Brochas. We all said a Mavdil, and he was thanking us for helping his mother and helping his girlfriend and being connected to the family. And he saw me with a hat and beard, and he wasn't so shocked, but I still didn't know. He knew that we helped them, he found out, but I didn't know what he's going to do actually when he's going to see me, face to face. Anyways, I'm supposed to go to him Motzei Shabbos, and they tell me it's still not going to work. Tomorrow morning, okay, how do we get there? They tell us they allow in the hospital only very close family members. So this Elena told them, actually they're family. It's not just, friends, rabbis. It's our family. These are our family. That's my sister, and that's my brother-in-law, and that's... So we came there as family. We come there to the hospital. They look at us. They can't figure out what kind of family are we with them. But Baruch Hashem, we passed the face control, and we're standing there by the door, and they say, how many are you? So we say, we're actually 6. We came with our daughters because they're also sisters, and whatever, all brothers and sisters. And they say 6 people. Maximum, they allow 1 or 2 people for maximum 5 to 10 minutes and no phones. So I'm already hiding my phone. I have 2 phones. One phone goes here, one phone. This is my phone. I'm already thinking, how am I going to take a picture? I want a picture with him. They don't allow phones. They don't allow you to go in for more than 5 minutes. And at a certain point, they ask, how many are you? And my wife says, we are actually 1. And that statement, we are actually 1, broke the ice. And he said, if that's the case, we're going to make you meet them, not in the hospital. There's a courtyard outside, and we're going to open it for you, that you should be able to sit with him there. Anyways, Baruch Hashem, we're able to go down to the courtyard and wait for him. Every second felt like, a million years. And when he came out of that door, and he saw me, and he came over to me to hug me, I can't describe what happened at that moment. I broke down. I couldn't believe it. Such a special neshama, hugging me, holding me tight. And Baruch Hashem, we're able to be there for an hour and a half with our phones and with the tefillin, and I put on tefillin on him, and I keep on saying, and I'm going to repeat it again and again. If once in my lifetime, at Ne'ilah Yom Kippur, I'm going to be at the darga that this Alexander ben Leah was, when he put on tefillin, the way he was davening went to the core of my neshama. I was so touched. I was so I was in ecstasy. I couldn't believe it. This is the boy that they were saying they're going to be afraid of a hat and a beard. This is the holiest Jew that I ever met. I'm not going to repeat what happened in an hour and a half. I'm not going to repeat all the discussions that we had from then. In Mirz Hashem, from here, we're flying to Israel to sit down with him, to plan in Mirz Hashem their future life. I want to just share one small story. He came out and he tells his mother that every hostage in Gaza had to have a nickname. A nickname, a name according to the Muslim tradition. So you can choose Muhammad or I don't know all the names. And they gave him a list of names to choose from. And he crossed it all out. This is not good, that's not good, I don't like it, I don't like it. And at a certain point, he chose a name. And he tells his mother, the name that I chose, you know who I became? I became Yusuf. And when she heard that, she said, oh my gosh. When she was in the most hard moment in this whole history, when she was giving up hope, she decided she's going to open up a Chumash and see what is the message that the Torah is telling her. And what did she open the Chumash on? The Geira Lagra, the story of Yosef HaTzadik being in the pit, and everybody gave up on him. His brother, his brothers, his father, and you can think that there's no future to this boy. And Allah Ligdullah, he saved the Jewish people, he saved the world. And she said, that's what my son is going to do. This is the message, I'm not giving up. He's going to come out, he's going to change the world. You have no idea how many messages I got of people that decided to put on tefillin because they saw Sasha Trufanov putting on tefillin. This boy is going to change the world. And each one of us could be the Yosef HaTzadik. Yossi Friedman, you are the Yosef HaTzadik. I have a lot more to tell you. I'm afraid he's going to fire me on the spot. Yossi, you better buy me a watch. Anyways, I'm going to stop right now, even though, believe me, I could go on forever. I want to just share one bakosha. Yesterday, there's a beautiful sefer that one of the first foreigners the Rebbe gave out. It's called Hayom Yom. Every day has a message. Yesterday, the message was that every single Jew is a shliach. Some people know a shliach, met a shliach. Every Jew is a shliach. Each one of us is the shliach from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to go out to every single Jew. And every single Jew is a Sasha Trufanov. That we think he's so far away, he's so scared of us, we don't bite. We actually are Eden that care for each other. And when we see somebody that is missing the beauty of Yiddishkeit, that we, Baruch Hashem, are able to celebrate, it's not fair not to share it with them. So we have to do it with a smile. We have to show them how beautiful it is, how special it is to be a Yid, to be a Jew, to be involved, to help other Jews to get involved. And I have no doubt that this Shabbos and what's going to come out of this Shabbos is going to be a big, big step. Not only a regel achas, one big step that we're all going to take to go likras Mashiach Tzidkeinu in the Geula Amitis Vashlema, Bekorev Mamish, now. A good tevach.
Project Inspire is creating leaders by leading by example. They've put so much effort into giving us this experience to show us that action makes change. And every one of us can make action, can do actions.
Good evening and Shavua Tov. My name is Mike Monty. I grew up in a small town in Rhode Island, a place far removed from any Jewish life. There were no synagogues and very few Jews in the town I grew up in. I'm not even sure if there's a single family there that's not intermarried. I have two amazing parents. My father's Catholic, my mother's Jewish. Growing up, I was raised Catholic. I didn't particularly identify as Jewish. If someone asked, maybe I'd say I'm half Jewish. Despite my mother telling me I was Jewish, I never learned about any holidays or customs. My only Jewish experience was lighting a Hanukkah menorah a few years during my childhood. I had heard of a holiday called Passover. I had absolutely no idea what it was. I went on to study in university and work in the commercial real estate industry in Boca Raton. and I was very passionate about my job and, thank God, successful. Exactly 2 years ago from this day, I had the opportunity to work on a deal that would change my life forever. My name is Michael Monty. I grew up in a small town called North Kingstown. I went to public schools. I had a pretty normal, secular upbringing. My father was not Jewish, my mother is Jewish, and my father and his family really did not want us to be raised Jewish, so we were brought up with more Christian, Catholic tradition. We'd go to church sometimes. We'd celebrate Christmas, Easter, all the big Christian holidays. The only thing I did growing up in terms of being Jewish was maybe we lit the Hanukkah candles some years when my mother's grandparents would come over. I graduated from university in 2021 and I got into commercial real estate.
I grew up in Lakewood. I married a girl from South Florida, from North Miami Beach, and after we learned a year in Israel, we came to live in South Florida. I worked in the mortgage industry, and eventually we started getting more into the lending business. As the company started doing bridge loans, we got a deal from Colliers, which is a mortgage broker, from a broker named Mike Monty. Mike Monty, I never met before. I never heard of him, and the deal was a sizable deal. I told him, we don't do RV parks, and we're not RV lenders. He responded back, did you read the full email? Did you see how strong the sponsor is?
I convinced him it would be a good deal. He ended up deciding to put out a term sheet, and from there, I got it in front of the buyers, and they were like, oh wow, where did this come from? It's actually good terms. We ended up signing up the deal, but in real estate, always something comes up. And we had a pretty major hiccup towards the end of closing.
Part of information of the deal, though, is not disclosed to the lender, not disclosed to us. And when it was disclosed, it was a big problem. It jeopardized for us to do the deal. When I called Mike up and said, Mike, this information was just given to us by the attorney, he couldn't believe it. He was surprised himself. He did not know this piece of information. And at the end of the call, I'll never forget the words he said. Joe, don't worry. It's all from above anyhow. It will all work out.
So my husband turned to me, he said, you think he has a Jewish neshama? His name is Mike Monty. He doesn't sound Jewish, but you never know. So I said, it doesn't hurt to ask. They spoke the next day, and my husband called him up and said, are you Jewish? He said, well, my mom's Jewish. I think you guys consider that being Jewish. So my husband said, yeah, it does. It was right before Pesach time.
After that, Yosef called me and he said, what are you doing for Pesach? And I said, nothing. I mean, I'd never done anything for Pesach in my life. I knew nothing about it. So he invited me to his family's house. Before I left to go down to Florida, my mother gave me this bag. I had no idea what it was. It had a Star of David on it. For no reason, she just gave me this bag and to take down to Florida with me. And I remember when I went to Yosef for the first time, he wrapped me with tefillin.
And that was the beginning of his journey wearing tefillin, coming to our house, meeting our family. Now he's part of my family. They know him in the neighborhood. Other people in the neighborhood became close to him. Everyone loves having Mike around. They even nicknamed him Brother Mike.
I was going to Yosef for about a year, and I was still living in Delray Beach, and just things in business just kept getting slower. The market really took a turn. Interest rates were going up. Yosef suggested I go to Aish. And in July of 2024, that's when I came to Aish. I'm sure Yosef wasn't expecting me to go to yeshiva. He just wanted to do his obligation as a Jew, to be friends with every Jew and treat them like family. And it can really change lives. It changed my life, it changed my siblings' life, it changed my family's life, and has given us a new perspective on Judaism. And you don't have to be a rabbi to do this. You just need to be a friend.
Tvach. You met Mike and you heard his story, and I'm honored to have a small part in his amazing journey and growth. I'm honored to have him part of our family, and my entire family is honored to have him as our close friend. Growing up in a home that put an emphasis on midos and caring for others, it was natural to get involved when the opportunity arose. But working with other people and teaching great friends like Mike, who didn't have the advantage of the growing up with Yiddishkeit and seeing how impactful it is to their life, made me realize, and my entire family realize, how really impactful Yiddishkeit really is. It's like a delicious ice cream cone on a hot beach. You don't need to sell it. It sells itself. Being a mensch and a Torah-observant Jew, anyone around you will want to lick at that ice cream. The life of an Erlich Yid is the best ice cream out there, and it sells itself. And that's what my parents taught us growing up. Mike has personally transformed my entire life, the life of my children, my Elimelech that's here, and my Ibi that's here in the room tonight. I can remember the Seder we had with Mike, with my younger and older son sitting side by side Mike, showing him what the Haggadah is, telling him what Mitzrayim was, how we got out, and we're going to get out of this gullus. It was just, words can't describe. Was it a little scary when I first reached out, having Mike come for a meal here or there? Yes. But look at the reward, and it was really worth it. There's more to this story. Mike is very liked, and we're so honored to have his brother Nick here tonight. We're even honored to have his brother Mark here tonight. And his sister Jen is learning in the city. Because Mike is a real role model, not just to me and my family, to his siblings. Before I finish, I want to read you a message that I received on Wednesday morning. Good morning. I just wanted to send you good wishes for your upcoming event, and thank you for bringing Judaism to all my beautiful children in their own special ways. It is really quite inspiring. I will forever be grateful to you and your beautiful family. Enjoy your time in Connecticut. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Lori Monty, Mike, Nick, Jen, and Mark's mom. A good Tvach.
Yosef, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done for me. You inspired me to learn at Esha Torah. You've inspired my entire family. And none of this would ever have been possible if you didn't decide to invite a secular Jew who knew nothing to a Pesach Seder. Thank you for having the courage to welcome me into your home. Thank you.
I want to thank Mike for coming all the way from Eretz Yisrael, special for this weekend, leaving Esha Torah, making sure he can get back as soon as possible to continue learning. Thank you for being an inspiration to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you know that every year Project Inspire produces a Tisha B'Av video, an inspiring film with our message that you heard here this weekend about all of us inspiring Jews that we come in contact with. This past summer was an extremely painful experience. I had the opportunity to sit down with the family of Omer Shem Tov and the family of Sasha Chufanov. As I joined them, Sasha's mother on the lawn of a burnt Nir Oz kibbutz, and Omer Shem Tov's family in their home, which seems so empty without their son Omer. To spend time with them, to feel their pain, to share their message, their emunah and their hope that their children would one day come home. It was an experience like no other, especially not knowing what the end would be. Here's a short clip of that Tisha B'Av video.
אני גדלתי ברוסיה, בעיר רוסטוב-על-דון. לא חישבתי שום משמעות לזה שאני יהודייה. לא היה חשוב בעיניי בכלל. פגשתי את בעלי ויטלי באוניברסיטה בזמן הלימודים. התחתנו, נולד לנו ילד, סשה. וכשהוא היה בן כמעט 4, החלטנו לעלות לארץ. הלכנו לסוכנות, ובגלל שלא היה לנו פה משפחה, לא היה לנו כלום, אז החלטנו לעלות בתוכנית בית ראשון במולדת. שלחו אותנו לקיבוץ ניר עוז ביום שישי, ב6 לאוקטובר, ערב חג שמחת תורה. הוא ובת זוגו ספיר החליטו לבוא לבקר אותנו, לחוג איתנו שמחת תורה. וככה יצא שכל המשפחה שלי בעצם ב7 לאוקטובר הייתה בקיבוץ ניר עוז, כי זה כל המשפחה שלי. אנחנו משפחה מאוד קטנה. וככה בילינו במנהרות עוד חודש וחצי. וכשחזרתי לפה, באוטו בדרך לצלב האדום כבר, הכניסו לאוטו פתאום את אמא שלי, וככה נודע לי שגם היא הייתה חטופה. השתחררנו באותו יום ביחד. ויום למחרת פתאום ספיר השתחררה, שזה היה ממש הפתעה. ראיתי שם הרבה דברים שאני מתקשה מאוד להסביר בדרך הרגילה, דרך ההיגיון, וזה ממש היה כמו יד אלוהים. עכשיו, אחרי שחזרנו, אני וספיר, גם ספיר הייתה די רחוקה מיהדות, למרות שאנחנו הקלטנו אחד עם השנייה לשמור שבת ולשמור כשרות, ואנחנו קוראות תהילים, ואנחנו מתפללות כל יום. היינו במערת המכפלה, וחבר רחל, וקבר דוד המלך, ואיפה לא היינו? בכל הצדיקים בצפת ובטבריה היינו והתפללנו, וזה מאוד מחזק, וזה מאוד עוזר.
אני ומלכי, חיי הילדות שלנו היו בבת ים. הכרתי את מלכי בגיל 19, ההורים שלי במקור מטורקיה, משפחה חילונית. אני בפעם הראשונה ראיתי אצל אותה חברה קידוש בגיל 15.
וואו.
פעם ראשונה.
בגיל 15 ראית פעם ראשונה קידוש?
נכון, נכון.
מאוד נדיר בישראל.
כן. ואני זוכרת שכבר בתור ילדה בגיל 15 ידעתי, אמרתי באותו יום, ככה אני רוצה שזה יהיה בבית שלי, כשלי תהיה משפחה. ולימים כן, הקמנו בית בישראל וקידוש, ארוחה משפחית היא ביום שישי, זה חלק בלתי נפרד. הדלקת נרות, גם אנחנו משפחה, אני לא מגדירה אותנו, אנחנו חילונים גם כן, אבל חוגגים את החגים.
אתה עדנה אלינו מלך העולם, שחצנו מלמותה ורחבנו, שבא כחדשו בעבר ונתנו נלחמנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית.
עומר בן 21, ובשישי לאוקטובר, בערב חג, וחגגנו, והיינו כולם, כל המשפחה.
ויצא עם חבר לפסטיבל.
6:30 בבוקר התחילו ההחזקות.
מתקשרים לעומר מיד לבדוק מה איתו.
אז הוא אמר לנו שיש רכב שבא לקחת אותו, ואת מאיה ואיתי שהם חברים של עומר.
התקשרנו אליו שוב, הטלפון צלצל אבל הוא כבר לא ענה לטלפון, וממש ראינו בלייב איך הוא נכנס הנקודה נכנסת לעזה.
As you're about to see in the video, Maya and Itai Regev returning home to safety here in Herzliya after spending a few days in the hospital.
הוא סיפר שבעצם עומר התחיל לשמור שבת. קיבלו בקבוק של מיץ ענבים. אז הם שמרו אותו. והם ידעו מתי יום שישי, כי אחד זכר את היום והשני זכר את התאריך. גם הוציאו מלח מבייגלה, והם שמרו אותו. ואז בימי שישי הם שמו נייר טואלט על הראש. אז הוא עשה קידוש ועשה ברך המוצי. הוא סיפר גם שיש שם חשמל רק עד 5 אחר הצהריים, ואז יש חושך. הם קיבלו פנס בעצם להשתמש פה, ואז הוא אומר לו, הדליק את הפנס בשבת. זה הדרך שלו לשמור שבת. לחשוב על עומר, שהוא נמצא במקום בלי חופש, אבל את החופש הפנימי של היותו יהודי, את החופש הזה אי אפשר לקחת מאף אחד, וגם לא מעומר, שהוא נמצא שם. אז הוא מוצא את הדרך, ואני מתוך המקום שלי למדתי אימון, ואז זה אימון, זה כאילו, יש את זה אצלנו. רק לפני 4 חודשים התחלתי לשמור שבת.
מה יותר אישית, בדמיונות שלך, שאתה מדמיין גאולה, מה אתה מדמיין?
אני כל הזמן מדמיין את הרגע שבעזרת השם ישחררו אותו. ואני לא יודע למה אני מדמיין אותו שהוא יורד מהג'יפים של הצלב האדום, מגיע בחזרה לגבולות ישראל.
רק לדבר על זה, זה מרגיש אותי. אנחנו פשוט ניפול על הרצפה, ולפני עומר ירים אותנו.
הוא ירים אתכם? וואו.
פשוט חיבוק ענקי, הרבה בכי, רגשות. זה יהיה היום הכי טוב בעולם.
I want to be perfectly honest with you. When we made this film, it was hard to see how their release was even possible. We hoped, we prayed, but in those dark moments, when they were still in captivity, it felt so far away. And yet here we are. Hashem has his ways, and both of them have been released in the last 3 weeks. Nothing short of a miracle. I was in touch with Shelley Shem Tov this week, Omer's mother. I told her how much we wanted Omer to join us. Unfortunately, he is simply just not up to it yet. She told me how much it meant to her to know that people she never met, people in this room, were davening for her son, crying for him, fighting for him. She wanted me to tell you, thank you. Thank you for standing with them. Thank you for believing that they would come home. And they did. But they didn't just come home. They came back changed, closer to Hashem, closer to their people. This isn't just their story. This is our story, the Jewish story. We go through darkness, and somehow we come out with more light. And once again, we get to witness that light to continue to shine.
אני רוצה להגיד לכם, תמשיכו לעשות ולהתפלל. תמשיכו להודות לאלוהים על מה שהוא נותן לכם, ותמשיכו להתפלל למען חזרתם המהירה של כל הנמצאים כבר בעזה.
Never breaks and a year never bends and a year never gives up in the night. A year perseveres through the deepest despairs. His emunah strengthens him for the fight.
And the Yid understands that Hashem has a plan, and that's all it takes to make it through. His Tate loves it, that's what a Yid holds on to.
'Cause a Yid never breaks, and a Yid never bends, and a Yid never gives up in the night.
A Yid perseveres through the deepest despair. His emunah strengthens him for the fight.
And the Yid understands that Hashem has a plan, and that's all it takes to make it through.
His Tate loves him, that's what a Yid holds on to.
Good Tavach, thank you for joining us. Lava Malka being served outside. Thank you very much.
Let's go, KTL, KTL on no way, love is in love with society call. Hey, KTL, KTL on no way, love is in love with society call. Oh, you KTL, KTL on no way, love is in love with society call. KTL, KTL on no way, love is in love with society call. One more time, did it lie,
see you all very soon.